Thanks so much for checking out Tea and Butty on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello and welcome to Tea and a Buddy with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And on today's episode, we're going to be ranking the best British supermarkets ever.
Yes. So we have noticed that people tend to like us talking about supermarkets and grocery stores. And we just saw a vlogger. Actually, I've seen a few vloggers do this kind of thing where they're ranking the supermarkets for some reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in the UK, despite it being a tiny island.
Yeah, but that's what these vloggers are saying. Oh, there's so much choice. But could we ever make this list in the United States? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, not as many. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there's regional grocery stores all over the place.
National ones, you mean?
But national ones. I mean,
because
there isn't one, is there? The only one is Walmart, really.
Well, Safeways used to be national. I think you would see them everywhere, but yeah, I really hate it when people classify Walmart and Target as grocery stores, because to me they're not grocery stores.
Well, they're stores that carry groceries.
They have a grocery
People do their
section.
Grocery shop at Walmart. And,
and
they do it at Target,
I mean, we have this discussion.
That's British people coming to Target will go, yeah, it's a grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watch YouTube, you've seen videos of British people or Australians or whoever going, oh yeah, trying an American supermarket, and they're like at Target or Walmart. To me, those are not supermarkets, and I guess it's because
Target is what then? Just a clothes store?
I think they call them
department store.
They call them big box stores. It's sort of like a department store, but it's got absolutely everything. Whereas a department store doesn't usually have food. So they call these stores big box stores. They're just big square stores.
Because you're not going to call JCPenney a supermarket or a grocery store.
No. But I guess it comes from the fact that I'm old, apparently, but I can remember when Target and Walmart did not have groceries in them. So,
what was Walmart then before that?
It was everything that it has now, only no groceries.
It was just like a hardware store, or what?
No, like you could get clothes, you could get toys, you could get hardwares, you could get home things, you could get stuff for your yard, and then you could get like gas station type foods. Like you could get soda and chips and like junk.
Yeah,
but they didn't have a produce section. They did not have frozen foods. They didn't have meats or milk. They didn't have anything in refrigerators.
Yeah.
It was just like chips, maybe cereal, I guess. Just like the same kinds of things you could find in a gas station.
It was like convenience
store. Yeah. Convenience/party, like anything you might need if you were throwing a party.
Which is mostly popcorn and stuff,
Yeah. So I can remember those days before they all had grocery sections. So to me, it's like it's difficult to call them a grocery store. But no, I don't know. When I was a kid, we used to have, and I know this is supposed to be about British grocery stores, but we used to have Homeland. I don't know if that was a national kind of grocery store. Before that, it was Safeway in Austin.
We had Safeway in Britain. I think it's defunct now, though. It's not. It's been absorbed by a bigger store.
But other places had, another place that I think doesn't go in Britain anymore, but we have a friend in Australia, and I think she works there, or she's always talking about it, is
Woolworths.
Woolworths,
yeah. It's not the same company, apparently, as it is in Australia. It's not got any historical, really? It's just the same name.
That's weird.
But the one that was operating in Britain and America it started in America, Woolworths. Yeah, I remember Woolies, as they called it in Britain.
Woolworths.
They used to have good pick and mix there. My mother used to take me there. I used to go there. And I think it kind of closed in like the late 00s or noughties or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you'd call this decade, but you know.
But you have a chain of grocery stores over here that are all connected. So like there's Randall's. I think Albertsons is in the same thing. Tom Thumb. I think maybe Safeway. I think they're all I think they all used to be Safeways, but now they're like the company that owns Safeway. I'm just totally talking like off the top of my head here. I have no idea whether I'm correct.
I mean,
or not,
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of America's a big country, so there's going to be a lot of regional grocery stores.
Yeah, I mean, in Texas we have HEBs and
greengrocers.
They still have Piggly Wigglies in some areas of the country.
And its sister store, Higgledy Piggledy.
Kroger's.
No, I'm joking.
I think Kroger's might be connected to the Randalls.
Albertsons,
all of that kind of stuff. You have Whole Foods if you have the money to shop at Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, I think, is in the UK, but who does their full grocery shop at Whole Foods? Honestly,
another one in California that I can't remember what the name of it is. It's something kind of funny, but it's like, yeah. So I mean, we could never do this type of list in America because I think each state kind of has a separate sort of chains or like areas of the country, you know, might be like a cluster of a few states where you can find the same
England
grocery
area,
store.
Yeah, like the Higgledy Piggledy. Piggly Wiggly.
Higgledy. But yeah, anyway.
Piggly Wigglies. That's a crazy name for a grocery store, Piggly Wiggly. You're just saying it with a straight face. It's just like, you don't say Piggly Wiggly with a straight face.
But anyway, getting back to this British list.
Getting back to it.
I don't know. It's so funny how popular these ranking lists are, but I guess for people that are going to be moving to Britain, let's say from the United States, for example.
They're going to need to know, aren't they?
It's helpful, isn't it? It's helpful to kind of know what grocery stores there are, what kind of stuff you can find in these grocery stores, what the prices are like in the different grocery stores. So
these are just ranked from our personal opinion of each of them, not cheaper to more expensive or whatever.
Right.
So, we'll tell you which is the cheaper store and which is the more expensive anyway.
Right. And I haven't even been in a few of the ones on the list.
Oh, you haven't, have you?
Okay. So let's start anyway.
Let's start. These are the top 11.
From worst, we're going to go from worst to best.
Yeah.
In our opinions.
Now,
you might find that you
might find you prefer some of these over the others, and that's fine.
Maybe the one that we're going to say is worst might be your very favorite.
You're entitled to that opinion.
Yeah.
But number 11 is the Co-op.
The Co-op. So explain.
Yeah. The Co-op's been around, I don't know how long. I mean, it's been around since the 60s, I think, or maybe even earlier. And it's quite a big thing. They've got the cooperative food, they've got the cooperative bank, and I think they're pretty expansive in Europe, too. Mm-hmm. I think you can get them in Sweden and, France or wherever. It's okay. I remember going to the Co-op as a kid. It's just kind of like, it's all right, It's not a great store. It's not like one I think of, when I want to go to a grocery store in the UK. I don't automatically go, oh yeah, you got to get yourself down to the Co-op. It's an old-fashioned store to me. It's like, how did you survive to this time?
Right,
really?
How are you still open?
How are you still open, really? It's kind of like, but they're still open because they've got like an insurance arm, or they've got a banking arm,
They're small. I think I only went in the Co-op once or twice, maybe.
Yeah, it's not my favorite store.
Well, I remember when I went in there thinking that it was like a gas station, like it was like a convenience store to me.
It is. Well, that one was very small.
It's quite small.
I'm sure there's bigger ones.
It had the feeling of a convenience store.
Yeah.
Same types of stuff, like junk food, and then just the essentials, basically. And just like convenience store vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's cheapish, but it's like, it's something that I forget about. It's more historical to me. Really, it's more like a historical store to me. Like
they should put a plaque on it.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, they've changed, and it's just kind of like a store you forget about.
Yeah.
That you've heard about. You used to go to as a kid. Like, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but when I was a kid, I used to go, my mother used to shop at Gateway, this store. Uh-huh. That was then bought by Summerfield later on, and now Summerfield was bought by Farm Foods.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was just completely dissolved or whatever. And I naturally thought Co-op had gone the same way, except that, they're just still dotted around here and there. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Another store is number 10
Number
is
10 on
Marks
our
and Spencer.
Yeah.
Now that's a store that's been going since the 1900s. Very early 1900s. I think 1906 or
Gran
something.
liked Marks and Spencer.
All the people who were born in the late 19th century like Marks and Spencer.
And the funny thing about it is when you go in the store, you can tell that you could get that vibe.
I mean, of course, it's updated now. It doesn't look like it's still in the 1900s.
No, it's very clean and modern.
Yeah,
actually.
it's clean and modern, but it's an old store.
But there are clothes in this store.
There's clothes in this store. I used to get
and they all
clothes.
look like old lady clothes.
Yes, I used to buy my old lady clothes at Marks and Spencer, and my gran used to say that to me all the time. She's like, "Go down, Marks. I got you this top at Marks. I got you. It looks nice for you." Yeah, and it's just like, I can do my own shopping, and I wouldn't really shop at Marks and Spencer.
No, it's expensive too, isn't it?
It's getting up there in expensive. Yeah, it's the food section is mainly for like people who live alone.
So the reason
and they're older people,
right.
It's usually like single portions and fancy food.
So really, the only reason we put this so low on the list is not the quality of the stuff, because it's pretty good quality, isn't it?
It's pretty good quality,
and the packaging is very nice and everything, but it's very overpriced.
It's overpriced, yeah. It's a little bit overpriced.
And there's not much selection.
And they had an advert a few years ago with Dervla Kerwin, which really kind of upped their game. People used to parody it all the time. It's not M&S. It's not just simply food. It's M&S food. It's just like she said it all sultrily. And they used to make it, and it was kind of an attractive kind of thing. Like a lot of food porn or whatever. Like cheesecake or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, that upped its game for a while, but people kind of make fun of it.
They do a trifle that you like, though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They did. My gran used to buy this trifle. It was like this raspberry royale trifle, and it was delicious. It was raspberries and cream and a little bit of sponge. It was absolutely delicious, I've got to say.
Yeah. So if you're a person of a certain age and in a certain financial bracket, then you probably,
if you've got a good pension, then yes, you'd enjoy. You probably shop at Marks.
Yeah, it's a decent store, but
it's decent, but yeah,
there's not a whole lot of selection. I remember they have all these like delicious looking pastries and stuff near the cash
Their
registers.
ice buns were on point, I've got to say.
But they have this like clear plastic wrapped sort of bag of all these what are they called? Meringues. Yeah. The crispy baked meringues, and they look so delicious. But there's not that many ingredients. It's not that difficult to make meringues. They shouldn't be that expensive. And I remember it was something like 6 or 7 pounds for the
6 or 7 pounds for a small bag, yeah.
And I was just like,
bloody ripping us off here.
Yeah, so that's why that's number 10. Otherwise, it's an okay store.
It's an okay,
They do have clothes and I don't know what else, like little kind of, you can do your Christmas shopping in there.
Yeah, they try to up their game.
It's like it's a bit like a department store with a grocery section.
Yes, yeah, it is. It used to be much bigger in the 90s. Yeah. I remember it was like all the rage in like the.
Well, we went in a great big one in, I don't know,
Cardiff, Carmarthen or something. Yeah. There's a great big one, and the one in the town where I lived was kind of small. Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's okay, Marks. I don't mind it.
Now number 9.
Number 9 is Sainsbury's.
Now you did this because I can't remember if I've ever been in Sainsbury's.
Yeah, Sainsbury's. Yeah, it's just kind of like, meh.
Really? What's meh about it?
I can't, I mean, I haven't been in one for years, obviously, but, it's just kind of.
I kind of think we went in a little one in, like, Liverpool or London.
Sainsbury's, like, Metro
Express
or whatever.
Or something.
Sainsbury's Express or something, yeah, it's tiny. Those, I mean, you can kind of get a feel for what they are, but I've been in a bigger one.
Because it's sort of like, their logo's like orange or something.
Orange, yeah, it's like an orange S.
I'm sure we went in one, but I can't really remember. I think maybe, is that where we got the scones from in Liverpool?
Yeah, it might have been, actually.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's reasonably priced. I think it's a little bit pricier than some of the bigger ones.
But there's just nothing.
There's just nothing special about it.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about, as they say. But yeah, I mean, it's okay.
And they didn't have one in your town, so I mean, maybe they're not super wide.
They used to be,
widespread as...
but then they weren't. You know, they kind of downsized.
But then they weren't.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of pushed out by the bigger ones, which we'll come to. You know.
Okay.
Number 8.
Number 8, I kind of did this.
Lidl.
I
used to work at Lidl. It was one of my very first jobs, actually. It's a German store, and they expanded into most of Europe, and they've expanded over here now, too. I think there's a Lidl over here.
Yeah.
In Texas, anyway.
Uh-huh.
They're okay. I mean, they don't typically stock brand name foods, because they're a German store, so they stock their own kind of like...
I very rarely buy brand name foods.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they don't...
Yeah,
but they, it's like they're not going to be... They stock their own type of... It's not like Lidl branded, it's someone else,
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they have kind of like interesting looking things. I do remember when working there, their frozen food and their desserts look pretty good,
Yeah.
They all look pretty good.
Mm.
And I mean, it's a general kind of grocery store, really, but it is a little bit basic.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheap. It's good for...
I think we can go ahead and talk about number 7.
7, Aldi. Yeah, and Aldi, too. Lidl and Aldi, they're both German stores.
Are they owned by the same people?
No, I think they're competitors.
Oh, really? We definitely just recently got an Aldi down here by Austin.
Yeah.
I think there's one in Pflugerville.
They're both from Germany, anyway, and they've kind of come up in Britain for like being cheap and convenient.
I think they're going worldwide. I think they're expanding very rapidly, like kind of all over the world.
They're pretty cheap, I will say. They are pretty cheap, and they're convenient for what you need. If you're on a budget, then they're your store. But their stores are pretty basic. You go in there and it looks like a supermarket from the 70s.
Yes, well,
I know the Lidl I worked in did. It looked like I was working in a supermarket that had just got a conveyor belt and a till,
Well, the only reason I wanted to put these toward the end of the list for me, and it's very superficial, but was just the vibes. The vibes were very
not her vibe.
It was very like it reminded me of being in like Big Lots in America. It just had that kind of vibe. Like
it's just kind of very basic. They put up the shelves and
there's kind of just stuff everywhere. It's not really attractive.
It's like a tiled floor.
It's not really organized. Really like impressively or
it looks very dank. It's very dank is the word I describe it. I mean, it's okay. They've got like a lot of like they don't really display things like wonderfully.
Yeah, it's not shiny.
Like
right?
It's not shiny.
Like Marks and Spencer, let's say, looks really good. It looks really clean. It looks modern. Even the logo and everything's really nice. You go in there and you're like, oh, this is, and probably that's why they can price their stuff higher because it looks nice. It's got a good feeling. It's just literally
been pulled out on the pallet. Because I remember that. I remember pulling out like a big huge pallet of Coke, bottles of Coke, 2-liter bottles of Coke.
Yeah.
And just sticking it on the wall underneath the price tag, you know? And that was it. In like, I don't know, Sainsbury's, Marks and Spencer or whatever, all these other stores, you'd have to put it on the shelf. You'd take it off the pallet and put it on the shelf and take the pallet and put it away because it didn't look very good. But it's just like, just put it on the pallet. And, if you wanted to get one, you'd have to kind of like rip the plastic yourself and get it off. It's kind of like wholesale almost, but not. Because
one thing I can remember.
But it is cheap.
One thing I can remember, and one of the vloggers we were watching said the same thing, so I guess it's the same in every store, there was this one, like, really long aisle, and it kind of was like the little refrigerators that you look down into, but they're open, in most grocery stores. They don't have doors or whatever. They're just, like, cooling, like, boxes, and they're about waist high. They had a whole row of that. And so I'm like, walk up and look in to see what's in there. And it was like gloves, hats, sunglasses in one, like teddy bears in another one. Like, And I was just like, what in the crap? Because nothing
That's
kind
their
of
specials aisle. Yeah, I mean they've got a lot. Yeah, they used to like.
scarves,
They'd be like,
It's
yeah, they'd have like random items there, and they'd also have like as seen on TV stuff, a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
But it was just like
a
in the
toasted
middle
sandwich maker that also does this or whatever. It's like a
Yeah.
lot of stuff,
But I mean, you might have stuff like that
convenience items.
sometimes in a grocery store over here, but they're going to be like organized into a section that tells you that that's what's in this section. This is just like you're just grocery shopping and then all of a sudden it's just there and you're thinking it's going to be like a thing of maybe frozen shrimps or something. And you look down and it's like
Yeah.
journals for 9-year-old girls or something.
Yeah,
It's just
it was
like,
a bit
what?
weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's fine.
Oh,
but
that was Aldi, I think that was,
I
wasn't
think
it?
that was
yeah,
in
Lidl was a little bit more. It's a little bit different, but Aldi and Lidl really, there's no kind of difference
and
between
there weren't
the
that
two.
many checkout. There weren't
there
that many
wasn't,
checkout
and
lanes. And
there's
maybe
only like 5
one or two
checkout
people
lines,
were even
and
working.
I don't want to go on a rant about how I was probably the only checker there one day, and there was like long lines of people.
No, that's what I can remember. There were only just a few lines, and only like one or two of them were open, and everybody's in the thing. And then the person checking is rude. I don't know.
I was rude. Yeah, when I worked there, I used to get that a lot because I'd been on there all day. They'd stick me on like the only till that was open, and I was just like, well, can I not just go and do some decarding or something? Because it was getting monotonous.
Yeah.
And also they time you for how quickly you can scan.
Oh god, yeah. So little in Aldi, yay!
Great places to work. The pay was good though. The pay was better than the bigger supermarkets.
People love them. People love those stores.
They're very cheap.
I mean, obviously,
they're convenient.
Or they wouldn't be like expanding the way that they are. I think we saw one in Spain, even.
Yeah.
I think it was in Aldi.
It's a little.
It was a little.
It was a little, yeah.
I think we went in, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I'll calm down now.
All the rant's over now from my harrowing experience working at Lidl.
But yeah, so if you want a cheap, if you want a deal, if you want a bargain, if you want something, if you're from Europe or somewhere that has this store, you're gonna recognize it. You're gonna want to go in there. So that's fine,
Yeah. Number 6, though, we're getting into another 6 and 5 are the same sort of store. Farm Foods and Iceland. Not Iceland, the country. They're frozen food supermarkets. So they specialize in frozen food.
They do have some other things.
They do have some other things like cereal and crisps and drinks and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Farm Foods, though,
I love farm foods.
You do love farm.
I love farm foods. I don't know why. I love it, though. I just love it.
Why?
I
don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's.
We don't have anything in America like it, like just a frozen foods specialty kind of grocery store, and they have everything, and they have all kinds of varieties of anything frozen you want. Like if you had a dedicated ice box at home, you could get some really good deals. You could just like stock it up and like not have to go to the grocery
the big
store.
Bags of jumbo shrimp and jumbo king prawns and stuff. Yes,
and all the desserts and all the ice creams. No, all the big thing of ice cream. That was probably the most. That was probably the most ice cream I saw at any grocery store in Britain, because you guys' ice cream sections are not very big.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, but at Farm Foods, they have a big one. They have a big thing of ice cream, and there's all different kinds of flavors, like what I'm used to in America. And yeah, I like Farm Foods. You liked it too. They have a bunch of vegetarian stuff too.
Yeah, I mean they have corn and stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course they had it was only literally a 2-minute walk from my house.
Yeah.
When I lived over there, so it was easy to just go and grab what you needed. It had milk and bread and stuff. And it had stuff like crisps and sandwich fillings and stuff like that. And but of course the frozen food. A lot of Bird's Eye stuff, which is a big brand in Britain. Pizzas.
Loads of selections of frozen vegetables and
frozen veg. I'm trying to think now. Oh, you found candy floss there, didn't you? Cotton candy.
Yeah, I mean they had a lot of other stuff, and the stuff that wasn't frozen I seem to remember they had deals on quite often.
Yeah, because they were trying to get rid of it. Usually.
You could get like 2 for the price of 1 of just whatever, loaves of bread or something like that. Yeah, they just had really good deals in there and a big selection. And it was just like all the different freezers and refrigerators. And it was just like I could just spend so much time like going through and looking, oh, what sounds good. And, you know, and it's all stuff that's going to keep. And,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
frozen food
like,
stuff. Yeah, I mean, I used to get mini Kievs there.
And I'm making it sound like
that
I'm
bird's
like
eye
I'm
simply
just
chicken and
I'm making it sound like I'm just talking about like ready meals
Aunt
or whatever.
Bessie's chips.
But I'm not. I'm talking about, oh yeah, Yorkshire
puddings.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but they had a big selection of shrimp, like you said, a big selection of vegetables, frozen whatever. I don't know.
It's basically the same Iceland, yeah. It's
Okay, I haven't been to Iceland.
It's very good for like party food as well. You know, like little chipolata cocktail sausages, you know, like hors d'oeuvres and stuff, you know, that you'd serve at a party.
Oh, yeah.
If you're having people over, you could get out like 24 frozen pigs in blankets or, you know, 24 frozen vol au vents or, you know, finger food and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It was very good for like party food, Iceland.
Yeah.
And, you know, other frozen food, I remember.
But it's exactly the same type of
Bernard
store.
Matthews and stuff like that, you know, turkey Twizzlers and mini Kievs.
Twizzlers.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was good for. You know, I used to go to Iceland with my mother when we.
So it's basically the exact same type of store.
The exact same type of store, yeah, as farm foods, yeah.
Cool.
Number 4, though, Waitrose.
You did this one again because I haven't ever been to Waitrose.
I think I went in one in London once, and it was, you know, it was overpriced.
I think, to me, based on what I've heard about Waitrose, I probably would have put that. I probably would have traded Sainsbury's and put Waitrose like at number 9 because I don't like overpaying for groceries. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think it was.
I don't ever shop at Whole Foods for
people
that
think,
reason.
and you know, people think like, oh, you know, people expostulate about Waitrose. Oh, Waitrose is the best. Waitrose is it. You know, and if your town gets a Waitrose, you've made it. You know, you've made it. But it's just kind of like it's you know, it's like you know, it's all right. You know. Yeah. I don't think it's that great of a place. You know,
well, it's got. You put it at number 4 though.
I mean, I put it at number 4 because it's like it's, you know, maybe you switch it with Sainsbury's. Maybe I don't know.
Because some people really like the quality.
Some people are obsessed with Waitrose.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Waitrose. That's the place. You know.
I mean, people are obsessed with Whole Foods in America as well, and I'm not impressed. You know, the prices are way too expensive. I don't ever go in there really. It's a nice store, but just
it's like it's kind of like, you know,
somewhere
like,
to like just browse.
Like, I went to Waitrose. Where have you go? Where do you shop? I shop at Waitrose. You know, those type of people.
So it's a nice store, I guess.
It's a nice store, yeah.
And you can get everything there.
You can pretty much get everything there. It's the same. It's a big chain, so yeah. Number 3 is Morrison's.
I like Morrison's.
That started in the north and then came down south and, you know, started expanding rapidly. It's really good. It's a big grocery store.
It's a really big grocery store. I think it's the biggest one that I've been in, actually, in Britain.
Oh, yeah?
I think so. Seems really big.
It's pretty good for, like, stuff like their bakery is absolutely phenomenal. I remember they had these scones, these like, fruit scones with, like, clotted cream and jam ready-made in there. They were, like, 2 for £1 or something. You know, it was really good. I mean, some of it's, like, it's okay, you know, it's reasonably priced, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And you can find pretty much everything in there. Yeah, I like Morrison's. I don't have anything to say about it, really.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you might like shopping at Morrison's.
And Morrison's is the first grocery store in Britain that I experienced where you had to put a pound coin in the, yeah.
I thought they did that at Farm Foods too.
So at Morrison's, you have to put the pound coin in the shopping cart in order to pull the shopping cart out. And I was just like, oh, I was all indignant. Like, they're making you pay £1 to use the shopping cart. That is ridiculous. I hate this store. And you're like, no, you get it back when you return the car at the end.
When you return the car,
I was
it's
like,
just
oh,
to
well,
stop
that's
you
good
from
then.
stealing the car, you know. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
people,
well, that's good
a
then.
lot of like, you know, all Americans, I guess, get confused by that. And they think you're paying, oh, they must make so much money, you know, just on shopping carts alone. And it's just kind of like, and, you know, like, people are like, oh, please don't leave that shopping cart there, you know. It's kind of like, you get the £1 back, but I think so many Americans have done that. They've just left their shopping cart and not clicked it back in.
Well, yeah, we're used to just leaving shopping carts everywhere in America.
And getting their £1 back, you know, yeah.
No, I think that's a great way to make people put their shopping carts back when they're finished. Number 2.
Number 2, Asda.
Right.
Which is now part of the Walmart family.
Yeah, it's even got the same
That's
little
been for
yellow...
like 20 years or so.
Like asterisk? Or I don't know what it's supposed to be.
That Walmart kind of like sun thing.
Sun, yeah.
It's Asda. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty... I mean, you've been in there. It's pretty much like Walmart, but green instead of blue.
Yeah. Yeah, for Americans listening, it's exactly like Walmart. It's not pretty, but
they've got the roll back, and they've got... stuff, George clothing and all that kind of stuff, you know.
It doesn't feel as Walmart-y as Walmart. I think that's mostly just because you're in Britain, though.
I mean, yeah, they do have a good pizza counter there. That's why I put it at number 2.
Yes.
Pizza counter is very, very good.
Yeah.
And Walmart don't do that over here. I mean, just a quick explanation. You can go up and you can say, I want like a 14-inch stone bake pizza base, and someone will get it for you, and then they'll put, do you want sauce or cheese on it? And you say yeah, and they'll do it for you. Now what toppings? And they'll have a variety of toppings, and you get a variety. You get like 4 toppings, and you know it costs only about £3.
Yeah,
and they shrink wrap it for you, and you go and pay for it and take it home and bake it, and it is a good pizza, and you made it. You know, well, the guy made it, put it all together for you, but you picked out what you wanted on it.
Yeah, and it's really good.
And I can't remember who introduced
so
it to me, but, you know, I just remember it was just like, oh, it's so good.
I'm not sure what makes it so good, but it is really good. It's not.
And you can get a variety of, like, bases and stuff like that. You can get, like, a stuffed crust 10-inch or whatever, you know. You can get smaller pizzas if you want it. But they're perfect, yeah. And I hope Asda never stops doing that, you know.
So Asda's got really good prices. I mean, like we said, it's the same thing as Walmart. And also, I like that when you're there, if you, I needed, you know, something that's not a grocery item. Let's say, like, I needed a pair of socks, or
you can nip over to but that depends, I think, because I think. I don't know if there's like Asda Extra or whatever. They have like a massive Asda, or they just have like Asda that just does groceries or what, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be those types of Asdas still, but maybe there isn't.
The ones that I've been in, they have a clothing section. At
like
least.
In the town I was in, there was a big one in the main town centre, and then out in like the shopping centre area. In Trostra, there was another Asda. It was Asda Living, it was called. And it was focused mainly on home decor and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Don't think it had any groceries, actually, because it was right next to the number 1 on our list. Tesco.
I love Tesco.
Yeah, you're a big Tesco head,
I don't know why I like Tesco so much, because it's basically just a grocery store, but I mean, they just have everything in there, and I think it's open 24 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you can get an Asda that's open 24 hours too now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the one that was in our town was the Asda wasn't open 24 hours, but the Tesco was.
Yeah.
And so that was very handy if you needed
It's
a
got
chocolate
good
bar
vibes.
or you wanted a packet of hobnobs at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know.
It's got good vibes. It's clean. I would say it's very similar to grocery stores in America. Like, you go in Tesco, you're going to feel like you're in America, except for all weird British things that you can't find American things, but that's another episode.
You can find Uncle Ben's in Old El Paso.
That's another.
I showed you the aisle with Old El Paso, and you were happy then.
That's another podcast. Look for our British grocery stores podcast for the differences there.
Differences.
But yeah, no, I love Tesco, and with Tesco, Asda, Morrison's. I don't know about Waitrose and Sainsbury's, but they all have checkouts, just like in America. But the smaller ones, I don't remember Co-op or Little Aldi Farm Foods. I don't remember any of them having self checkouts.
Like
you have to wait.
Yeah, it was pretty basics. Yeah.
And then you have to pack your bags in all of the grocery
I think in
stores.
some Asda's and Tesco's now, and I think some of the bigger ones, you're doing the scan as you go as well now.
Oh, I hate those things. I do not like those.
You scan all your stuff that you're putting into your trolley, and you just pay for it at the end.
It's like, I'm already paying for the groceries. Just do your job and scan my groceries yourself. I don't know. They want you to do the work for them. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I don't mind, like...
It's a novelty, I think.
Yeah. I don't mind checking myself out at the end, but I don't know. I don't want to have to, like, scan it and make sure, what if I don't do it correctly or whatever, I feel like that's an easy way for people to steal things, too.
Might be.
Oh, scan it as you go, and then you just, like...
Yeah, I don't know how they combat that, but...
Yeah.
It might just be a trial thing.
Anyway, yeah, so this is our list.
This is our list. What's your list? Tell us who you love in Britain.
Yeah, go on our
if you've
Facebook
been to any
group
of these.
Would probably be the easiest place to do that. Go on our Facebook group and just like give us your list of your ranking, I guess it would be.
Yes.
Did we put your favorite one at the very end of our list? Have a rant at us if you want.
Have a rant. Let us know.
You can always comment on the website, and there's a blog post that goes along with each one of these podcasts, and it has a comment section. You can always use that as well, or tweet us, Instagram us, all of that kind of good stuff.
I think we're done. I think we're checking out now.
We've run a bit long now. Yeah, time to check out.
Yeah.
Talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.